Welcome to another edition of Political Arena here on S24 Television. Today we are looking at the connection between campus politics and Nigeria's leadership in the future. Universities are often described as a training ground for leadership, student unions, campus organization, debate, and advocacy that give young people better opportunity to develop political experience. But there are also concerns about money politics, violence, godfatherism, ethics and religious division, intolerance, and the struggle for power within the students' politics. So, are campus really actually grooming responsible leaders, or are some of the negative features of Nigerian politics being produced at the younger age? To discuss this, I am joined by Aliu Ahmed, a Nigerian youth leader, community development advocate, public speaker, and public policy enthusiast with a strong interest in education, youth empowerment, and good governance and inclusion. Aliu, welcome to Political Arena here on S24 Television.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Malan Abubakar.
So you're a student leader.
Yes, yes.
So when we talk about preparing the future leaders from the campus, what should university teach students about leadership?
Thank you very much once again for having me. You see, this topic is timely, particularly at a moment when Nigeria is at a crossroad of one of its defining moments, the yearning for transformational leadership to confronting the challenges that are confronting our nation. University has always been the ground
Avenue.
avenue for practical leadership.
Mm.
What we are seeing today, particularly from our national leadership, is a reflection of what has happened when our leaders were in the university. University is a rehearsal stage for national politics. So whatever we are seeing today is going to be whatever kind of leadership we are seeing today or school campus politics we are practicing today is going to be a replica of what is going to happen in the future. The concern here is, are we really having or are we grooming the right leaders for the future of Nigeria? This is a topic that we've always been having this kind of conversation in the marketplace, at schools, at various places. And it's a concern. It sincerely should call for action because if you look at what is happening in campus today, there's something I can say from experience what is happening in the campus. Nigeria is in critical danger in the future because we are not producing leaders with vision. Universities should, teachers and lecturers should teach their students beyond the knowledge. They should be able to teach them critical thinking. This is important.
You might mention that we are experiencing a huge tax, especially with what is currently going on in the university system. So, what is the biggest problem facing student leadership today?
The biggest problem facing student leadership today is that in the university, we only teach students academic, give them academic information. This leadership you're seeing, we have to be deliberate about it. As I used to say, leadership is neither by chance nor accident. It is the result of deliberate intention. We have to be deliberate about whatever we're doing. We have to groom these people. We've seen in so many cases how people from campus, a student leader who resists accountability will definitely resist accountability whenever he finds himself in the national arena. So teachers and lecturers should focus more on teaching their students critical thinking, ability to be able to analyze policies, and engage themselves and engage with the community.
Okay, so student politics can involve competition, money, and influence. How similar is this to what we are seeing currently in Nigeria's politics of today?
Just like I said earlier, the university or campus politics is a replica of what is happening today. You can see from campus, even if it is a public relations relations officer you want to contest in the department at the department level, you have to buy a form. You have to get money, buy food, particularly for people. Whatever you want to do, even their mobility and everything, it involves money. So we don't expect somebody, for example, particularly a student who is suffering to feed himself, he is contesting, particularly he might have the vision. He might have the leadership and the ability to give what they really wanted. But then that money can be a barrier for him to give whatever he wants to do. So money, you can't, gaskiya, to be very honest, you can't separate money and our current reality, particularly from the campus and the universe, from campus to the national level.
Speak to me as a student leader, a previous student leader from the prestigious University of Ahmadu Bello University's area.
Yeah.
How do you think ethnics, religion, and regional difference affect student politics from your own experience?
Speaking from experience, ethnic and religious background often play a vital role in campus politics. Why I say this is I have found myself in this kind of scenario. Not only social exclusion, to be precise, when I was contesting for the president of Ahmadu Bello University's area, I have faced a lot of challenges in regards to this. There are so many people, part of the people that were supporting me. I have a friend from Anambra who was contesting for a hostel governor. I could vividly remember what happened. A lot of people were saying, no, we shouldn't vote for her because she's this, because she's that. And I bet you that lady was one of the most competent candidates among all other candidates. But then because she comes from a different region, that has been a gate for her to achieve it.
That is
what
ethnicity.
She wanted. Yeah. So you see, and yes, religion inclusive. A lot of people are saying she's not this, she's not that. No, we shouldn't vote for her. Let's vote for this. But leadership is not about personality. It doesn't give regards to where we come from. So long as we want to see the Nigeria we wanted, we must see beyond regional differences, religious differences, and whatever differences that we ought to set to be a gate for us to becoming whatever we want to.
So you are advocating for meritocracy and competency over regionalism and sectionalism.
Indeed. When I was the president of one of the most cosmopolitan faculty in the University Faculty of Arts. It has people from different socio-cultural backgrounds, which is why even when I was contesting for the president, my slogan was, I'm going to run an administration of expansion and inclusiveness. Because there is this saying that even the most beautiful garden is the one that has different species.
Of course.
When you bring people together, you have different ideas. When you have different ideas, you have what brings about meaningful development.
Two good heads are better than one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ali. We are going for a short break. When we return, the conversation will continue.
Thank you very much.
Let's go for a short break. When we return, the conversation will continue. Welcome back from that break. Remember, you are watching Political Arena here from S24 Television, and I am having a discussion with Aliu Ahmed, a student leader, and also a comrade. Once a comrade is always a comrade.
Indeed.
So, comrade, speak to me. Like, can someone be a successful student politician and fail to be a good leader in future?
Yes. Why? Because what I said earlier is from the universities, this problem started from home. The family has also a share in this. Whatever you see a student politician or a student leader doing in school is a representative of his family. If you have the values, the ideologies, wherever you find yourself, you continue to remain.
Charity begins at home.
Charity begins at home. There is lack of strong political ideology. So I believe this is why the transition is happening. A successful student leader ought to be otherwise when he finds himself in the national
I so
arena.
much like the way you play that politics instead of calling the other word you said otherwise. Thank you so much for being diplomatic in nature.
Yeah, welcome.
So what matters most for student leaders? Popularity, influence, or ability to do the needful?
What matters to a right-thinking student leader should not be the popularity, but rather what can I be able to live when I am not there? When I left there, did I want to be remembered because of my popularity, because of the position I held, or because of the impact I was able to made? You understand? So what should matter most to him is the impact, not the popularity, But in our current realities of campus politics today, is what matters the most is the popularity. People always want to be at the nomenclature. They are not contesting for offices because they really understand what is in the position.
The lucrative nature of the
lucrative nature of the
This boils
democracy.
down to my next question. In terms of accountability and transparency, a lot of student leaders has been under the watchdog, and many people are even accusing them of squandering the little resources gotten from the students. Then how can student leaders be more accountable and transparent to their fellow students?
In this scenario, I will share a personal experience. When I was the president, I was part and parcel of the previous administration before me. I didn't criticize the administration. Rather, I studied from their mistakes. When I came, what I did was to establish a strong transparency and accountability system. What I used to do, I did it different from the way other people are doing it. I established every week, we used to, how student leaders used to generate their dues. It's from student collecting either 500 or 1,000. This is how we generate money. What I used to do is every Friday, I used to call my vice president, the secretary general, the auditor general, and the treasurer.
Check and balance.
Check and balance. We start for a meeting every Friday in the evening. We close the door in the office, count the receipts, document everything. The president will have the document. The vice president, every office is concerned, will have it his own record. At the tail end, we submit whatever we gathered to the parliament.
For vetting.
For vetting. What I believe we should do is the university has to be deliberate about accountability. Just like I said earlier before, a student leader who resists accountability will definitely resist it when he finds himself at the national level. So we must be deliberate about it. The school authority has its own division, bodies that are tackling such kind of financial misconduct or financial mismanagement. I can tell you without fear of contradiction, today in campus politics, we are having a departmental president who was even given a small opportunity before he finishes. You hear his certificate has been
withdrawn.
Why? Because he squandered money, he did this and the rest. So to be very honest, the school authority must be deliberate, must involved
in addressing
either direct
issues.
or indirect.
Speaking about what you were able to establish during your reign as the president, so after leaving office, does that check and balance continue? Were you able to at least lay a strong foundation in continuity?
This is where the problem is, because particularly in Nigeria, individuals are stronger than institutions.
Of course.
There is lack of institutional leadership. That continuity, this is my ideology. Another, my successor might have his own different ideology. So this is the problem we are facing. If we want to fix this problem, we must make a strong institution that must be stronger than individual.
Of course, yes. So what role should lecturers and university management play in guiding young student leaders?
The lecturers, particularly the university management, has a responsibility to be organizing training and mentorship, because you can't generalize and say all the people or student leaders are bad. There are absolutely people with leadership potentials. What they need is to show them the direction.
So many Nigerian politicians started through student activism. What can today's students learn from them? We saw the likes of Sowore when they started. We saw the likes of Nasir El-Rufai when they started. We even saw the likes of Dino Melaye.
Yes. You see, there is quite different between activism.
Nigeria of today and Nigeria of yesterday.
And Nigeria of yesterday. And of course, there is quite different between activism and leadership. You can be a very good activist, a vocal one, without developing the integrity and what it takes to be a good leader. A lot of people will find themselves, when they were student leaders, at the very position of criticizing the government policies. But when they get into the system change them, because I understand there are political pressures. You might find yourself in a political party. They have their own ideology, and going against their ideology might cost your office.
That is godfatherism is still playing a vital role in Nigerian politics.
So Nigerian politics, yes, you can't separate it with godfatherism.
Okay, so why do some young people find it very, very difficult to criticize government, but when they came into power, this is to go down?
Eh,
Are you tying that to the issue of godfatherism still, or it's just because they are not ready to be in that position of leadership that they found themselves? But I so much believe that if you are really competent enough to the task given to you, without fear or favor, you will be able to deliver your mandates.
you see, that's lack of, sorry, fear of losing position.
Okay.
A lot of people, like I said, will criticize the system when they're out of the system, when they are into the system. Many people are analyzing governance from
Behind the
outside.
scene.
When you get there, when I was the president, there are a lot of things I felt like I will do. When I became, I realized sometimes it is the system that control you, not you that can control. You cannot control the system.
Okay, Aliu, we are going for a short break. When we return, you are going to explain to us how can we change the system to become workable.
Okay, thank you very much.
Remember, you are still watching Political Arena here on S24 Television. Let's go for a short break. When we return, the conversation will continue. Welcome back from that break. And this is Political Arena coming to you from S24 Television. And you spoke about having strong institution and having weak, strong individual and having weak institution. So how can we change the narrative for the benefit of people that are going to come in the next decades?
You see, that is a very serious one, to be very honest. And having a very strong institution, it requires a lot of engagement. A single individual cannot be able to do it. And to be able to have a strong institution, we must revolutionize. We must have a revolution in the system. Because definitely there are some certain people or some certain reforms that need to be flushed out.
Well, are we really ready to carry out that revolution?
That is the question. Are we really ready to carry out the reform? Because we have to, particularly like I said, Nigeria is in one of its defining moments where it requires leaders who can think beyond the comfort of their zones. We must think outside the box. So for us to have strong institutions, we have to commit ourselves that yes, we want to do it, and we have to be intentional and deliberate about it.
Okay, so what skills should students develop before moving into national politics?
What a student should develop, like I used to say, is number one, particularly in campus politics. What one of the key to being a successful student leader is have a good communication skills and master the art of public speaking. Be able to engage with people. Be able to identify a problem. Don't just identify. Be part of the problem and be part of the solution. Because identifying the problem is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. So you must be able to stand on your principle when the need arises.
So apart from contesting election, what other ways can students participate in politics?
There are so many ways a student can participate in politics aside contesting for offices. I remember when I was in school, when one of my strong support that I got was from my class. Coming to my department, to my head of department, to my faculty. If I go to contest for a position covering the entire school, I will get support from my faculty and the rest. So when we identify people with potentials, people whom we believed can be able to deliver the task, supporting them is also part of the participation. And not only supporting them, we must be active in whatever decision that is going to be made about our lives. We must be deliberate, we must participate, we must have the knowledge of policies, policy analysis. Don't just criticize policies. Policies doesn't have single answer. It has multiple options. Be able to provide solutions. you engage yourself. Power is not given, it is taken.
Of course,
Yes.
48 laws of power.
Yes.
Well, so how can social media and technology at least support and aid students to be more politically informed and inclined?
Well, talking about social media and the role it can play to make citizens more informed, you can't actually say technology can play a vital role in making citizens informed, but it solely depends on the quality of how we use the technology.
How we consume it.
How we use the technology. For example, in 2023, when Peter Obi was contesting for the president, a lot of people doesn't even know who is Peter Obi. But what made him more popular was social media. If we are using social media, cannot just be a tool that can make us informed unless we are using it for civic education. There are people who are making content, people who cannot be able to read long policies, but in short, in 1 minute video, they can be able to understand what that policy is all about. So I think this is one of the most important aspects of it that can make citizens or student leaders to be more informed about the current realities of their country.
Okay, so if universities truly want to prepare future national leaders, what 3 things should they change immediately?
Number one, students, the school management must directly be involved.
Directly.
Directly.
Not any representation.
Directly. Students must develop thinking ability. Number three, the students must know leadership is not about achieving personal interest, but rather public. You see, I am saying this because I have seen it firsthand experience. Many students are just left behind to do whatever they should
want.
do. The management are not holding students accountable. Even the students are not holding
themselves accountable.
themselves accountable. So the management should change, the school authority should change that culture, because a student under whatever university has to be under the care, because like I said, the family, it starts from the family, the society, then the school, then the university. So the university is the final destination that will expose you to the larger society.
Okay, Aliu, what responsibility do students themselves have in preparing for leadership?
The students in themselves, like I said, everybody cannot be a leader.
Of course.
But when you realize you have the potential, you realize you're strong, there is what they call SWOT analysis in business.
Carrot and stick.
Your strength, weakness, opportunity, and SWOT analysis. Your strength, your strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. That is the last one. When you are able to identify this, try as much as you can. Like I said earlier, before, many people were not holding that strong ideology, principles. You must have your own principle. There are a system, a situation where you find yourself in one of the most critical situation. I think this is going back to our previous question. Many people, when they are outside the system, they decide when they find themselves in that system, they dance according to the tone of the system.
Well, so, when I'm not in power, nobody is perfect
than me. When I get there, I realize it is not the same. So you see, this principle is very important.
Yes. Well, Aliu, finally, before we call it a day, so what advice will you give to Nigerian students who want to become national leaders without repeating the same mistake and negative practice in Nigerian politics?
Well, my advice to student leaders is don't chase power, chase impact. Build your leadership with service, so that you can be remembered by the measure, you can be measured by the level of impact you made before you left the position you occupied. Because leadership is not about position. It is what you were able to do when you have the opportunity or chance. This is my advice to them, because I feel this is very personal. When I was during my national service, I served in Katsina. You know, NYSC has 4 cardinal programs: orientation course, place of primary assignment, community development, then winding up. The third one, when I got to the camp after the orientation exercise, I realized the CDS, you know, there is a group CDS and there is a personal CDS. I took that opportunity when I was serving in Katsina. I was able to identify challenges
affecting those
affecting
people.
my immediate community, my host community. What I didn't be part of the community complaint. I moved by action. I developed a proposal, approached NYSC, seek for approval. I constructed a solar-powered borehole.
Kudos, Aliu.
Today, these people are still benefiting from this borehole. I distributed 100 school uniforms to 100 pupils and underserved children.
During your NYSC?
During my national service. I also, at the same time, I taught 100 Almajiris how to read and write and even speak. For 3 months, I used to go every day. After
I think based on what you said to us, it's high time for the Nigerian president maybe to give you national honor of OON. Well, thank you so much, Aliu. So finally, before you go, Aliu, speak to Nigerians on the advantage of electing credible leaders, not political leaders.
Yes. My advice to Nigerians is don't vote based on personality. Vote people based on their records, their past and their antecedents. Before you vote someone, critically analyze what was he been able to do when he had the opportunity, whether he held a position or he has the resources to help people. What impact has he been able to make in his own immediate community? I think this is one of the primary tools that people should look at in voting the person that should lead them, because it is very important. We are voting based on what you have in your bank account and what you can be able to tell us. Human can change. I can make empty promises. I can say a lot of things that I know deeply inside my heart. I don't really mean it. But what doesn't lie is your past.
Thank you so much, Aliu. Thank you so much for sharing your insight with us.
Thank you very much.
Election, exercising foreign child is beyond election. It cut across holding leaders accountable. Hold them accountable. Make sure you vote for the credible people ahead of 2027. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and may Nigeria continue to be the best among the African states. And this is where we will draw the curtain of political arena here on S24 Television. Thank you and bye for now.